Multiple SSH connections to the same system, is it possible? I have a Linux computer acting as a server which can accept incoming SSH connections. Is it possible to reliably connect multiple devices at the same time, such as my phone and laptop, as well as other desktops, to the same server using SSH? Thanks for the help.
The short answer, yes. It usually works by default. The long answer, depending on what you are using it for, it may slow down with multiple connections, but that is a bandwidth issue, not an SSH issue.
Yes, it is possible, it is the default behavior. Trust. You can rely if you are using an updated version of SSH and the protocol is not anymore one. The command above should give you, Protocol 2. Limits for the connections. You can see SSH as the encrypted evolution of Telnet, born in the FAR 69 to allow remote access to a server. Note that SSH connects over TCP and it is able to forward X sessions, graphical session, too. Multitasking and multi-user are in the inner nature of Unix. Even if it is not without limits. You can see some of those limits in the TCP and SSH limits. cat/proc/sys/net/core/samaxcan, usually 128, to see the maximum TCP outstanding connection you can have. The kern.ipc.samaxcan syscall8 variable limits the size of the listen queue for accepting new TCP connections. The default value of 128 is typically too low for robust handling of new connections on a heavily loaded web server. cat/proc/sys/net/core/netf_max_backlog, usually 1000, the maximum length of the TCP packet queue. less/etc/security/limits.conference, you can find the limits for user. Max sessions in /etc/ssh/sshd_config. Max sessions specifies the maximum number of open sessions permitted per network connection. The default is 10. #max startups 10:30:60, usually commented in the /etc/ssh/sshd_config and by default set to 10. Specifies the maximum number of concurrent unauthenticated connections to the SSH daemon. The default is 10. References: Man SSH, Man SSHD, on your machine. The man page of SSHD or of SSHD_config.
Yes, it totally is. But this should be implementation defined. You could as well program your own, probably not so secure, and worse, SSH server that cannot handle multiple connections. But just like common HTTP servers of course support this, openssh does so too. Actually, this is the very concept of Unix. A multi-user system where a server does all the work, and only small clients connect, terminals.
Yes, this is very common. Indeed, if used as a file server and by many users, it is absolutely essential. SFTP uses SSH, and there is a lot of ED activity that depends on it too. From devices, it is possible to trigger events with custom user logons, such as power off or reboot. Consider also SCP. WinCP is commonly used to access source code, and today users still able to use fish in Conqueror. Notable too is the use of additional ports in case of loss during maintenance. Ubuntu do release upgrade, say. So yes, I gather you have never had multiple PuTTY terminals open?
SSH